Hey, I've done a lot of marketing in the past, specifically for SaaS and for B2B agencies, so services based businesses. I wanted to talk specifically about services businesses in this video and go over four sites that don't generate good leads for the agencies I've worked with, and two uh, sites that do generate great leads. Um, Inbound marketing is one of the biggest issues that agencies deal with, right? If you're not getting enough clients coming in, you don't really have a company. So inbound is a good channel. Outbound is a great channel. Cold emails, which I've talked about in a bunch of other videos. And then referrals are the three ways that agencies get clients. So I wanted to talk about inbound today. So here's four sites that don't generate good leads for us and two that do. So the first one is Quora. For a while, Quora was working really well. We had at least three questions that were pulling in 10 to 15 leads a month on Quora. And those were, what are the best app development agencies in the US? What are the best app development agencies in Chicago? Like on and on for our keywords. And those worked until they didn't. Basically, all of those types of questions are full of spam now on Quora, and most likely won't get any results or don't for us. What does work on Quora is being part of the answer wikis. So if you go and you search, what are the best lead generation companies, you'll see InspireBeats is at the top, but it's not because we're in an answer. It's because we're in this answer wiki. And I'll link to the actual answer in the comments. But it's because we're in the wiki, so it's like Lead Genius, InspireBeats, and a bunch of other lead generation companies at the top. So that works for us. But actually writing the questions and writing answers in Quora, it's negligible how many leads we get now after I guess it was an algorithm change or something changed. So the second thing that didn't work too well for us is pitching influencers for blog post promotion. So we went hard on this probably for about a month and a half, which is sending our posts out to influencers, calling them out in the blog post, quoting them, etc., and then sending these people emails and saying, hey, here's a blog post. You want to link back to it? I know it was our execution that was off, but I'm going over what didn't work for us. So that did not work as well for agencies. I think it's because agencies are a commodity. For instance, if you wanted to get iOS development and you type it in on Google, you could go to a directory and see thousands of development agencies. So that sort of influencer marketing, when they're getting pitched hundreds of times a day, is not going to work. What might work is finding very specific influencers and maybe building relationship over time. So we've been able to get a couple guest blogging spots that way. So that might work. The other thing that doesn't work for leads but works for traffic is inbound.org. This is HubSpot's, I believe it's HubSpot's message board. It's a clone of Reddit where basically people will go on and they'll post marketing articles up, and then other marketers will upvote or downvote them. This site, similar to the next one I'm going to mention, has driven traffic, right? The most votes we've gotten on one post, I think, was 9, which isn't that many. It's not crazy viral, but 9 upvotes on a board like that, where the average, is 1 to 2 to 3 votes, is decent, and it drove a couple hundred views to the site and 0 leads. So that's something that has not worked for us. And the fourth one, which I was surprised by, is Reddit. Reddit we've been able to use a lot for traffic, right? We're able to get thousands of views from Reddit, depending on the subreddit and depending on the actual piece that's posted up. But the traffic converts a lot less than any other source. 0.01% or less is the conversion rate from Reddit, which on a lot of our agency sites, the standard conversion rate is about 2%. So 0.01% is just laughably bad and not worth our time. So we have not yet figured out how to turn Reddit into money. So those are the 4 sites that don't work for us: Quora, pitching influencers, inbound.org, and Reddit. Let me go over 2 that work for inbound leads so that you can get some action out of this. The first is podcasts, and only specific podcasts work. In the SaaS business, what has generated leads for us has been ConversionAid and RocketShip.fm. Those are the only 2. In the agency business, there's one podcast that I found work, which is Web Agency Podcast, which I don't think is even running anymore, but that was the one podcast with enough listeners. In order to find the right podcast for you, just know, you could do 100 podcast interviews, but the only thing you really need to do if you're going to do podcast interviews is find the one or two podcasts that are actually popular in your niche. Maybe you're in commercial real estate and there's a real estate podcast, or you're in selling to restaurants and there's a restaurant podcast. Find whatever that top podcast is, just by asking around, right? Ask your friends who are in the business with you. Look at the iTunes top. Although I haven't found a good way to search through that yet. Maybe I'll make another video once I crack that code. But find the one or two podcasts that'll generate leads for you, and those are the only ones you're gonna have to contact. And there are other videos also about how to actually get that podcast interview, if you're interested in doing that. And so that's podcasts. The second website that worked for generating leads are directories. Specific directories as well. There were only 2 directories that I found that have sent leads to the agency clients we work with. So one is Venture App. It's ventureapp.com, I believe, where basically you make profiles. It's the same as every other directory. You make a profile, potential leads browse through the site, and they pick you out of everyone else to send a message to. So Venture App is one, and then the other one is clutch.co. The same thing, profiles. This one's driven by actual user reviews, so you have to go and get your clients to review you. But if it works for you, it works phenomenally well. If you can get to the top or even on the first page of Clutch, you're going to get a lot of leads for your agency. So those are the 2 that work for us. A bunch more also work for us. Maybe I'll go into more detail in a few other videos. But I wanted to outline the ones that didn't generate good leads, because sometimes you fail, right? Sometimes you fail, but it's worth it to find the ones that will work and generate massive profits. So I'm Alex Berman, and I will talk to you later.